Lindsey Lewis, welcome to the conversation today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure to be with you. I'm joined by my co-host, Angela Schill. I'm John Westover. We're south of Salt Lake City in Orem, Utah, and Lindsey is joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're thrilled to have the chance to talk with Lindsey today about diversity and inclusion and empowering women in finance. As we get started, I wanted to share Lindsey's bio with everybody. Lindsey Lewis has built a career around women and money. She not only helps women take charge of their finances as a chartered financial consultant and CFP professional, but she also stands as a champion for diverse women in financial service industries in her role as senior director and chair of the American College Center for Women in Financial Services, a premier center of excellence focused on research and advocacy within the American College of Financial Services. That's just a really short snippet, Lindsey, of your background, but I wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience anything else before we really just dive on into the broader conversation.
Yeah, I know that title is a mouthful, but essentially what my work comes down to is promoting, advancing, and advocating for women in finance. And I do this through thought leadership, education, and research. And so it's been really fun to get into this role, especially from my time being at Utah Valley University and now working at a non-traditional college, helping non-traditional students with their learning journeys. So it is very exciting work, and I can't wait to dive a little bit deeper.
And Angela, before you dive on in, Lindsey, can I just ask, are you a product of our PFP program here?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in the personal financial planning program, so the CFP registered program, and I'm a two-time alum. I also received my MBA with an emphasis in business management as well from UVU.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay. That was so great. Oh, I have lots of questions. I'm just going to dive in, but I hope that you'll share in the middle of this when and if it probably will just come up. I'd love to hear more about, we all would, your journey to get to where you are. Maybe this is wrapped in. So just talking about innovation in financial services, you've positioned yourself as a catalyst for change within the financial services industry, and you've been focusing on modernization and the integration of diverse talent. Can you share specific examples of how innovation has played a key role in attracting and retaining quality talent, specifically diverse women with entrepreneurial mindsets within the financial services sector?
Absolutely. I will start off with my origin story because that plays a big role into this. So I grew up in Orem, Utah. I drove on 800 West, if you're familiar, for elementary school, junior high, high school, and college. So that's how I got to UVU.
Are you a Mountain View alum as well?
I am. I'm a Bruin. Yes, yes. Love it or hate it. I loved it. It was great. But I grew up, I have 6 brothers, no sisters. And so kind of the idea around gender norms was not in my household because any of the chores that my brothers did, I was expected to do as well. My parents definitely, anything that they dreamed of doing, I also could dream of doing. So that was really around some of this empowerment that happened. And then growing up in Orem at the time that I grew up there, I didn't see a lot of role models of income producing women outside of the home. And my mom was a breadwinner in our household, which was kind of atypical for that time. And I saw the importance of education. And so because my mom had a college degree and was an accountant, she was employable and was able to provide for our family, which was absolutely amazing. And so I went to UVU and I'm like, I'm going to become an accountant because I know I'm always going to have a job. And through a series of events, I found the personal financial planning program and I hopped into that program because they said I had too much of a personality to just be an accountant, which one of my brothers is an accountant, so we'll leave that there. But I hopped into that program, and what's really cool about UVU and the personal financial planning program is that it really personifies the engaged learning that UVU talks about. And the amazing thing there was that I had the opportunity to go to industry events with financial professionals during my undergrad program. So I was able to travel to 5 different conferences all over the US, paid for by either sponsors or the school, which really broadened my exposure to the industry at a very young age, like, 19, 20, 21. And what I saw when I went to all of these events is it was an ocean of men, right? And I'm like, where are all the women at? Because this career is so great for women and diverse talent and underrepresented groups, because everything you learn is applicable to your own life. So that is extremely helpful. And two, there's such a need. There's a huge demand. There are, hundreds of trillions of dollars that are in transition, but the most recent stat is that $30 trillion will go to the hands of women over the next decade. And 70% of widows will fire their financial professional within 24 months because they are, don't like working with that advisor. And we have the nation as a whole is shifting to a minority majority by 2050. And you have 100,000 financial professionals in this Cerulli data that are saying that they plan to retire in the next 10 years, which is 35 to 40% of the total workforce. So you have a $30 trillion market. You have people leaving. The market, the number of professionals that came into financial services last year was negative 0.25%. So like fewer people are coming in than going out. And you have the changing demographics. So I was like, this is such a great opportunity. Where are all the women at? And that started me on this path and this passion for advocacy. So I've worked at what's called a registered investment advisory firm, which sounds like a person, but it's an entity that helps people manage their money as well as institutions. So I help build retirement plans, which sounds super boring, but I actually would help companies come up with their 401k solutions for their clients or for their, employees. And so I'd help with investment selections and how the plan was designed. There's lots of things that companies can do to make retirement more of a picture for their employees, but they have barriers of like, you got to be there for 12 months, or you have to be, you can't offer it to part-time employees, and like thinking about innovative ways that way. So then I've helped work with high net worth folks with their financial goals. But along this whole path, I've been super passionate about young women and women getting into finance. And so I've actually hosted an event on UVU campus, and we're going into our 6th year, called Polished. It's a women in business event, and it's to learn from and be inspired by women like you. And really the inception of this was me growing up there, right? Like I didn't see a lot of women who I could look up to. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I literally was just in New York this week and got back, and we work it out with me and my partner in order for us to like thrive together. And so I created this event really to help young women just see someone who's 1 to 2 steps ahead of them and ask those challenging questions of, how do you get a raise? Like maybe what do I wear to work? Or how do you negotiate that first salary, or what employee benefits should you ask for? And so that is what got me so passionate about doing this in the industry. And now in my role, I'm able to do that on a national level, as well as doing my work with UVU. So it is really around all of these data and these facts. And I think what gets me going every day is that I'm a certified financial planner professional, and the percentage of women CFPs has not changed in 2 decades. And we got to change something. We got to do it, So that's really what my passion came from.
That's really crazy. That surprises me, because we have seen not tons of movement, but we've seen some movement in some of the other kind of traditionally male dominated fields. And you're saying there's really not much of any movement